welcome to this lovely show. For today, we're going to focus on an interesting topic. Remember to catch this dosage weekly. Every week, this dosage is there for you to give you nothing but the best of what we can offer right here on Sporty Dosage. Now, today we're going to talk about an interesting topic. The topic titled player mentalities in Zambia. Of course, there have been so many questions raised, and questions have been asked on what is the right state of mind of a player and how far can a player go depending on his mentality. How important is his mental state of mind? So today we're going to be joined by Coach Bupe Chewe right here on call, as we're going to get him online to talk to us about the mental aspects of football. So we're trying to call Coach Bupe Chewe so that we can get to know more about this topic that we're talking about today. Good evening, Coach.
Hello, good evening.
This is Yose on the line, Coach. We have an interesting topic today called players' mentality in Zambia. First of all, welcome to the show, Coach.
Thank you very much, Yose.
I'm very great, Coach, not knowing about you.
No, I'm doing fine as well, thanks.
Coach, first of all, football is known that it's a physical sport, and we see players running around in the pitch playing. Now, there's another side that is not very much seen, the mental aspect of football. How important is it to have a strong a football player who is mentally strong on the field of play, basically from a point of view of a coach?
Yeah, I think the mental side, of a player when it comes to football, it's very important, because the skill and talent, they are not enough. For most of the challenges that players meet in the game of football, they are mental challenges, I think they say that more than 75% of the challenges that a football player or a sportsman or woman will meet in the field of play is mental, and just a little percentage is maybe physical or skill or talent. So the mental aspect of the game is very vital, very important.
Coach, you've stressed a very important point there of 75% of the mental aspect being very important. Now, we have seen in such cases where football players are so reliant on other substances, for example, like alcohol, smoking, and they see them as a way to boost their playing style and as well as improving their performances. Is it so much reliance on their mental strength, or they don't believe in their talent? What's the mental point of view of such kind of players around?
Yes, I think it's all about the background. I think more especially in Zambia, we don't have that department of sports psychology, So, maybe let me try to define a little bit of sports psychology. This is, a specific area of dealing with the mental factors that may try to influence, sports performance, So, yes, I think the background is not there. The education is not there. So it's the reason, I think players, they end up, using other, methods in order to improve on their performance, So, yes, I really feel that, like in Zambia, more especially in lower leagues, they don't really focus on this aspect of soccer, the psychological aspect of soccer. So the background is really poor. The players have no knowledge about this. So I think that's why the players, they go and use other methods.
Okay, Coach. Still touching on the same subject, what are the long-term effects of not having a strong mental ability to withstand pressure in line with football as well, on and off the pitch, leading them to reliance on other substances. What are the consequences of such occurrences?
Yes, I think one of the major consequences maybe the player giving up on his talent. Yeah, because football is a game of so many challenges. Sometimes the lack of game time. Sometimes you don't have a good relationship with the coach. Sometimes the injuries they are coming here and there. So if you don't have that mental toughness, mental stamina, I think your career can end up because you are thinking so negative and so forth. This is how critical mental stamina and toughness.
Okay, coach. Coach, you mentioned something about coach-player relationship. We've seen in the past, and also it happens mostly here in Zambia and lower leagues as well. We have seen players getting too comfortable with a certain coach, where if a coach moves, they go and play for that same coach. Do you think it's lack of confidence, or it's just a matter of philosophy in what they believe in as a coach?
Yeah, I think it's a matter of philosophy, but I think I tell all the players I coach, that they should be comfortable. Yes, with all the coaches and whom they meet, whom they have been coached and so forth. Because you cannot, manage, to be following your coach wherever he goes. Sometimes, what if your coach does not find the club to coach and so forth. So, it's a very good player if you're going to adopt him to all kinds of coaches, all kinds of philosophies and so forth. So, yes, I think we just need to try to talk with these players, more especially the young players, letting them know that they need to get adopted to such kind of philosophy from any kind of a coach.
Now, we've seen this a lot, where players fail to get out of the comfort zone where they get used to, and get very much accommodated to being a local hero, being cheered on by local fans. What stops most of these players to go out there and try to challenge themselves? Is it a thing? Does it so much bear on? Is it fear, or why? Why are most Zambian players, especially in the lower leagues, not willing to challenge themselves?
Yeah, I think let me talk about the scenario which I'm familiar with. Yeah, in Livingstone, where we can say that for past the decades, players have been failing to go out there and try their best, and they have been comfortable in their comfort zone. Sometimes, yes, I think we don't really prepare these boys for bigger challenges. Yes, most of the time I hear, the coaches and the pundits praising so many players that this player can fit to play in the National League or the Super League and so forth. But we really forget to tell them the challenges at that level. That's the major problem I've seen. Yes, when a player goes there, he tries his luck, and he just finds something so difficult which he was not told about. So I think the coaches and the pundits, whereby you just need to be trying by all means to the players, the challenges which are found at that level. Yes, I'm very glad that I think last season, the number of players in Livingstone, they moved out from their comfort zone. Yeah, they have tried their luck, and most of them, they are doing fine. Yeah, so this is all about preparation, preparing these boys. It's a process. You just can't see a challenge, a nice talent with a good left, and say that he's fit. To play in Super League and so forth. In the process, there is that the mental development of a player, the physical development of a player. So we really need to look into such kind of things.
Are the players ready to embrace such a process? Do they feel? Have you encountered a situation where a player feels delayed because of the process trying to prepare them for the bigger stage?
Yeah. I think yes, some of the things I've coached, all the players I've coached, yes, I've tried, to introduce this mental side of the game, and I think yes, I'm happy with the progress of most of the players that have passed through my hands, because the mental aspect of the game, that's the number one thing for me. Yes, I know without it, it's very difficult for a player to succeed, no matter how talented he is. So I think we just need to continue pushing, without, despite the challenges which were there. Yes, at one time in Livingstone, yes, I think that the time that players can be coming on a free charge, so that I go through this kind of a process. And imagine, no player shows interest and so forth. So these are the kind of things that these young players, they need to be introduced to. Football has changed. Football is now science. It's not about just kicking the ball and so forth. So we really need to implement this kind of aspect of the game, without failure.
Okay, coach. You said we really need to increase that aspect of the game. Now, here's the thing. Here's a scenario. You have players who've gone for trials. They go for a tryout. They play very well, and they are not picked. Where they come from, they feel that they are at their best and they can play anywhere. But surprisingly, unfortunately, they don't get picked at a new club where they have gone for tryouts. How do you deal with such a player who's feeling rejected, at the same time they feel they have done enough but their best is not good enough?
Yeah, yes, I think it's a very, very challenging thing. To deal with such frustration and disappointment. Sometimes the player can even lose form. Sometimes they can give up and so forth. But now the most important thing is to make them realize, that there can be some better opportunities that can come. Because when you fail once, it doesn't mean that you are a bad player and so forth. So this is why yes, the mental side of the game is very important, because you need to teach your players how to bounce back from mistakes, how to bounce back from failure. Those processes, you must teach your players. So yes, if your player is very equipped, mentally, yes, on how to deal with mistakes, on how to deal with failures, yes, I think that can never be a problem. So yes, I really feel, there is a big challenge, yes, at a lower level, in preparing these our boys in terms of, psychological aspect, yes, of the game. Yeah, because the reason is even the coaches are not equipped, to know those psychological techniques, yes, so now to prepare the boys on going to trials, and when they fail, they still remain the same. So it's a very difficult, situation, especially at a lower level.
Quick question, coach. Would you encourage a player to venture and go out for a trial, other than just being headhunted and scouted by a club that wants them? Which one would you favor, a trial or a player being headhunted?
Yeah, I think it's the two traffic. I think being scouted, or being identified by a coach from a certain club or scope, it has so many advantages than going to a trial, because you are not known, but they are going to see, that particular moment. But I feel sometimes there are some players who are from clubs where they are not marketable, yes, and so forth. There's nothing wrong for them to go and do the trials. But yes, I prefer, a player being scouted, so now it carries so much advantage. Yeah, because the coach knows, your abilities and so forth.
I get your point, coach. Now, going back to the issue of failure, we have seen players like, for example, in 2010, Asamoah Gyan missed a very vital penalty that could have led his country to semi-final spot at the World Cup, and we've seen him not trying to take penalties until again he failed to score against Zambia in 2012. How do you deal with such kind of failures in a player where they feel that they have let the team down, but despite being a game situation? How do you balance that, especially when you're dealing with emotional players?
Oh, yeah. One thing I think the players needs to be told or taught is, football is a game of mistakes. There's no perfectionism in football. Football is for mistakes. That's why we find, the other team scores, the other team wins or what, because of those mistakes. So players, they need to be prepared to bounce back from mistakes. I think you just imagine missing a penalty in the World Cup for 5, missing a penalty. It's a very traumatizing, moment for a player. But I think this is why sports and psychologists, they are very, very important. I think Zambia, they will just need to find ways of trying to attach sports psychologists, more especially to those teams from Super League and National League, because it's a very, very important aspect of the game.
Now, coach, on that part, well, you've brought in the issue of psychology. We've seen players being resistant to classroom training, where they're seated in a hall or in a class and being told theoretically about the factors of football. Is it because of where we come from, background of just saying training is directly on the pitch, in ball and background? Do we embrace psychology in terms of books as well as theory of football side for the players?
Yeah, it's a very tricky situation. Yeah, because of the background, as you have said it. I think this was also a problem when it came to coaches. Yeah, because decades ago, years ago, coaches, they didn't believe in going to class. Yet as long as you have played football at that level, you can coach and so forth. Some were saying that my papers, you didn't cheat, and so forth. That resistance, it was broken down. So, this also comes to the players. Yes, we just need to emphasize, the importance of psychology, to the game of football. Because without it, it's very difficult, to succeed, to perform. If I can give you the scenario, I think in terms of talent and skill, Zambia is more better than Tanzania. Zambia is more better than, DR Congo. But look at how, the knockouts in the CAF Confederation, tournaments. This has nothing to do with skill or talent or tactics or technique. But it's about the mentality of these clubs, the mindset of these players and so forth. So when we try to work on our psychological aspects of the game, I'm telling you, yes, I think our clubs will be performing so well in this CAF competition.
Okay, coach. Psychologically, are Zambian players ready to take up the horn and challenge, for example, clubs from North Africa? Because we've seen clubs from North Africa, West Africa, raising the bar so high to a point where they are mentally strong. They will not be easily defeated by mind games. We've seen Zambian clubs going to North Africa to play a game and they are defeated even before the game starts. Do you think now Zambian players are ready mentally, and is there a way on which to improve that mental strength of trying to improve their view of the game in light of that?
Yes, I think so. I think most of these clubs, they just need to introduce sports psychology yeah, because the coach is a coach. Yeah, he cannot play, two roles or three roles and so forth. So sometimes, yes, most of the time, these clubs, the coach, yes, turns to the psychologist, the coach turns to the motivational speaker, yeah, and so forth. But in these roles, they need to be specified. I think, yes, we've got this in our back of our mind that, yeah, the North African clubs, they are always, tactically superior than us. Yeah, me, I say no to that, yeah, because we've got, yeah, better coaches in Zambia, yes, experienced coaches in Zambia. We just need to deal, yes, I think, yeah, with this area of, sports psychology, where your players will be prepared mentally for such kind of big games. They will just need them to move into that direction. Yes, I think the Zambian League, it has become, so big improvements and so forth. It's very competitive, but yeah, they will just need to be so bigger now, so bigger.
Okay, yeah, the Zambian league has become so big, and one of the things that has seen that rise in prominence of the Zambian league, the flocking in of foreign nationals to the Zambian league, and there's an introduction of the quota system. Do you feel foreign players really put in so much effort and are mentally stable than most of our local players, to a point that a foreign national can easily walk in a Zambian side and easily maybe start because of the dedication they have? One scenario I would mention is one of the coaches came up and said foreign nationals are easy to manage because they know that they have come for work, other than Zambian players will just come and play, and they know they have a place to sleep even if they don't put in 100%.
Yes, I think it's a two-way thing. Yes, I've seen, I think, foreign players who are great, very committed, hard workers and so forth. I've also seen foreign players who sometimes I get surprised how they find, that player and so forth, and addition two players from our local life can even do a better job. So I think there's two-way thing. My take on this one is, I think, yeah, we need quality. When you bring a foreign player, there must be that quality better than our, local players and so forth. Because, yeah, you cannot bring, a foreign player and, yes, it's blocking more talent from our local talents, and that, foreign player maybe is not having even game time, is not contributing anything, is not adding value to the team. So value, yes, and quality is the most important thing. But I've seen some foreign players, oh my God, and you can be surprised how that player was signed.
It's indeed, oh my God, as you've mentioned. Now, talking about value and quality, we've seen parts on Daka, Mwepo making it out there, and Emmanuel Banda going out there. There have been some concerns. Some players would raise excuses and saying it's hard for them to adapt to foreign culture. What attachment to value would you emphasize on these players in line with what they want to achieve? How much is value more important than the skill they have, as well as psychologically the mental strength that they have?
Oh yeah, let me talk about the person data. Yeah, maybe who came from the background of that process of being developed. They are not rushed and so forth. Yes, at one point I think the Zambian fans were asking somewhere for person data to go. I don't know whether it's to Tottenham and so forth. But those, and people were managing and handling those boys, they did a very fantastic job. They developed those players so well until the right time came. Well, sometimes when you rush, there are those challenges like culture, food, the environment in a foreign country and so forth. Especially there are those players who come back from Zambia and going know, to Europe and so forth. But in order for the players to achieve their goals of, making it at that level, that top level, they must be mentally prepared, psychologically they are prepared. That's the most important thing, because the competition at that level is so high. They look with all those small details, those top coaches level. So yeah, yes, we just need to prepare our players. We don't need to rush them and so forth. Then the other point, I think so, our Zambian players, yes, we want our national team to improve. I think yes, they need to stop, going into countries whereby Zambia is better than those countries. Tanzania, DR Congo, even South Africa. Yes, I know the money is better than ours here, but in order for us to improve, yes, on the national level, yes, we just need to push our players in those leagues which are better than our leagues.
Okay, but that's a very, very good point you've raised. I've seen so many players trying to choosing money over football in recent times. Now, as we are wrapping up, Coach, there's a thorny topic that has never been, I would say, finally fixed or something like that. Coach, what's your take about players who believe in superstitions? For example, in juju, we've seen coaches would enter a stadium, they would say, no, we'll not play the home team's balls, we have to wash them first, or they have to spill water on them, or urinate on them. What's your take on that?
Yeah, superstitions, I think they are there, in football, in sports. It's not just in Zambia or Africa. Yes, I remember, I've just forgotten the World Cup, the year and so forth. That, goalkeeper for Chile, that captain, he used to score free kicks and so forth, Yes, he used to have, they are more like, a medal. They are more like a religious medal. Yes, and he used to throw it in goal, in area and so forth. And, sometimes they scored him, sometimes they did not score him. Yes, I remember also Fabian Tadea. Yes, he was kissed, yes, on his forehead and so forth. So those superstitions, they are there, they are part of the game. I think they are, psychologically, it's okay, for players sometimes to believe, in superstitions. The wrong superstitions are those, I think, we do most of, in Zambia and Africa, in terms of, juju and so forth. Those, I think, they are very negative superstitions. But, there are those, superstitions which are very positive. They help the player to create that confidence and so forth. I remember, John Terry, what he used to do, before he steps, when the field of play, yes, he used to, use the left lane, to step into the field of play. All the time, you observe all the videos of John Terry and so forth. So, that was his superstition. Thinking that when he does that, yes, he's going to have that confidence, he's going to play well and so forth. But there are those players who, they do the mark of the cross, they offer a simple prayer, before the game and so forth. So those are positive, superstitions. But there are those negative superstitions where players or coaches use juju, charm, maybe, be instructed that the bus, should enter, with the reverse side and so forth. So those are negative, superstitions.
Finally, Coach, talking about psychology and sport and the mental aspect of the game, just summarizing, would you encourage football clubs to hire psychologists in order to take care of the mental aspect of football for these players in line with depression, anxiety, post-traumatic disorders? Would you see that as a way forward happening in our leagues?
Yes, I think it's the most important thing for now. I think clubs are growing. I'm very happy with the way clubs are growing in the Super League. Even in the National League, the clubs are growing. But it's, yes, because of limited resources, they cannot hire the psychologists. Yes, I think there must be ways you can take, your coach, for, sports psychology, lessons and so forth, because this is a very critical aspect, of the game, sports psychology. Without that, it's very, very difficult, to succeed. So now, yes, I just want to give you about 2 examples before, we conclude. Two examples, one team in the Super League and one team in the National League. Look at, the way Green Buffaloes, their form has been, dropping. I think they have gone, 3 games or 4 games, they're without picking maximum points. So, in that area, yes, I believe, the coach is trying his best at work, yes, on the mind, on the psychology of the players, in order for the club to bounce back. Then the other team in the National League, they are extended, they have done about, 7 games, they're without a win. That's, registering growth. In that area, yes, I think the coach is doing fine tactics and so forth, but yes, I think the mental aspect of the game now comes in. Sports psychology now comes in. Yes, because that's the situation when you don't handle the situation well, the club can continue, even 10 games without a win. So this is a very critical part of the game. Most psychologists, if you cannot afford, better your coaches are trained. Even just, very, very important.
Thank you very much, Coach, for according us that time, and we really appreciate for your presence here.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jose. Thank you very much.
And that has been Coach Bupe Chewe talking about player mentalities in Zambia as well as sports psychology, the importance of sports psychology. We are crying for players to be better and to be the best version of themselves, and one of the ways to become the best version of yourself as a football player is to take care of your mental well-being as well as to be in your right state of mind to play football. Remember to follow this program weekly as we bring to you subjects that are beyond football and are in football that are very important for the growth of the game. Remember to like the page, share, and invite your friends to like this page as well. And you can also like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Sport Dosage. Thank you very much, and we say thank you from me, Yose, and my producer, Mr. Lubasi Samui, for bringing you this awesome program. Thank you very much.